This generation is also known
What
as
do
the
you mean
World
by
War
that?
II generation, and is remembered for its...
Hold on. But rename. Hey, look. Hey, look. I know this video about Gen Z and whatnot like that, but I'm just saying, when it's all said and done, I think we could go down as the greatest generation of all time. Like all the other generations, y'all come for me if y'all want to. I'm telling y'all, bro. When it's all said and done, Gen Z gonna be the greatest generation of all time. I'm telling y'all.
These young kids out here, they don't want work. They don't want work. That's their problem. They don't want work. They don't know how to work. Oh my, look, bruh. I ain't lying to y'all. The reason why we watching this video today, man, is because I know every Gen Z person has heard it before. And hold on, let me slow your roll right there. No, I'm not one of the Gen Z mugs that's about to come on here and just basically defend Gen Z the whole entire time and take their side and say that, no, we've been subject to this. No, we have it hard. And I'm nobody here for that. I ain't here for that. We're here to watch this video because I genuinely want to have like a more common understanding on exactly what each generation is going through. No, I ain't gonna say that I don't know about all the issues that we are having and shit like that. Like, niggas is worried about the future. My niggas is broke, man. And when I say my niggas, I mean my Gen Zers, bro. Most of our people is broke, bro. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not sitting there saying that like we got it harder than everybody else, so don't do that. Don't do that. But I'm just saying though, I hear so much negative shit and I just wanna go ahead and look. Man, I gotta explain myself to y'all. Y'all heard what I said. Hey, look though, hit the subscribe button if y'all be enjoying the videos, man. Make sure y'all go check out the shorts as well, man. I don't say this enough. I got a Twitch channel that I really don't be on, but I do plan on reactivating that Twitch. I don't know when, I'll say it like that, but if y'all want to see your boy live stream, because I do be gaming, y'all know where your boy came from. Your boy came from the gaming community and then started doing a reaction. But hey, look, go hit the sub button for you, boy. You feel me? Hey, look, let's get into the video.
The Lost Generation. Despite taking place over 100 years ago, the Lost Generation has many similarities to today. Growing up as a young man or woman in this time period, you were met with war, a pandemic, harsh economic times, and changing social conditions. World War I was brutal for this generation. More than 70 million people were mobilized, 8.5 million were killed, 21 million were wounded, and 2 million soldiers died of disease.
Damn.
Speaking of disease, the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 to 1920 was also not merciful, with some reports estimating 17 to 50 million deaths worldwide, and other
Damn.
reports claiming as high as 100 million. After the war and the
Learn something
pandemic,
new every day.
the world experienced economic turmoil.
I really
thanks to
never
the
knew
Great
about the
Depression
Spanish
in the
flu. I never knew the
1930s,
Spanish flu was like
resulting in
that.
high unemployment rates, poverty, and a general sense of hopelessness. Popular culture began to rise in the form of early cinema and magazines. As people searched for a distraction from the bleak life they were presented with, women gained the right to vote in 1920, and new employment opportunities for unmarried women widened, as many women were left widows due to the war. This era saw the rise of a new type of young woman in pop culture known as the flapper. Known for
The
being
flap-
rebellious against previous social norms and featuring a more reckless and party-going attitude. Today, the Lost Generation is remembered for their resilience and being able to survive a harsh and difficult time period, and some say it could provide insight into modern or future time periods.
Facts.
The Greatest Generation. This generation is also known
What do
as
you
the
mean
World
by
War
that?
II generation, and is remembered for its...
Hold on. But rename. Hey, look. Hey, look. I know this video about Gen Z and whatnot like that, but I'm just saying, when it's all said and done, I think we could go down as the greatest generation of all time. Like all the other generations, y'all come for me if y'all want to. I'm telling y'all, bro. When it's all said and done, Gen Z gonna be the greatest generation of all time. I'm telling y'all. Hey, look. All my Gen Zers out there, man, get y'all shit together, bro. We about to lock in. We about to lock in and achieve this shit, bro.
Heroism and technological innovation and prosperity. The youth during this time would grow up with many inventions becoming popular and normalized, like the radio, telephone, and automobile. It was a major time period for culture and entertainment in America. Literature, arts, music, and cinema flourished during this time period. As the golden age of Hollywood began, and gangster films, music films, comedy films, and monster films became extremely popular and gathered massive audiences. It was also the advent of comic books, as huge franchises like Superman and Batman began. In the music industry,
God damn. Call me a casual if you want, but Superman that damn old? Not to take away from the video, but god damn.
Jazz, blues, gospel music, folk music, and swing jazz all became large genres. The rise of the radio influenced many Americans during this time period, as millions would tune in and listen to President Roosevelt's famous fireside chats and learn about the news in an exciting way. 16 million Americans served in World War II, the majority being members from the Greatest Generation. 38.8% were volunteers, 61.2% were draftees, and would serve the average length of 33 months. There were approximately 671,000 casualties in the United States. As of 2023, almost 120,000 of the Americans who served in this war are still alive today. The Silent Generation. The Silent Generation grew up with their parents both witnessing the fall of Nazism and the rise of their new enemy in the era, communism. When the children of this era began coming of age after World War II, they were faced with a devastated social order following World War II, as the Soviet Union betrayed America's post-war agreements and the global powers would face off for the next 50 years. Unlike the previous generations who had fought for changing the system, the Silent Generation was about working within the system, keeping their heads down and working hard. They were heavily influenced by the golden age of radio, the rise of trade unions, the development of transatlantic flight, and the discovery of penicillin during their formative years. Silents tended to marry and have children young, and their attitude of taking no chances would become criticized by future, more radical generations, such as baby boomers. Finally we talk about the boomers. Possibly the most famous modern birth generation and one of the most active time periods in American history.
When it's all said and done,
the 40s, 50s, and 60s were known for their ridiculously high birth rates, with 76 million births taking place during this time period. This was due to a strong post-war economy in which Americans felt confident they would be able to support a large number of children. Boomers influenced the economy as the core marketing demographic for products tied to their age group, from toys to records. On top of this, many items previously deemed luxurious, such as laundry machines, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, and the telephone, entered mass production for the average consumer,
crazy, though.
and the average American could live like...
Hey, look, real talk, we'll take a break in the middle of the video right quick. Appreciate all the little shit that y'all got, bro. It may not seem like a lot because y'all grew up with it and whatnot like that, but appreciate all of the little shit that y'all got, bro. Like, remember one thing, it can always be worse. They telling everybody right now that how they used to be fascinated over fucking refrigerators and shit like that because that shit was new. That shit was in. That's some shit that's like, you know, like, fuck, this the greatest thing since sliced bread type shit. You know, appreciate all the little shit. Back to the video.
The upper class from the previous generation. Technological advances made before, during, and after the war, such as plastics, television, magnetic tape, transistors, integrated circuits, and lasers, played a key role in the tremendous improvements in the typical standard of living. With this extended period of optimism came a cultural rush, especially in the music industry where the Beatles, Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, and many other artists and bands all became extremely popular.
Damn, the Beatles,
Not everything was sunshine and rainbows, of course, as it was a time period where major political discussion around topics like the sexual revolution, civil rights, nuclear weaponry, ethnocultural diversity, and environmental protection all became popular and heavily debated. This was because this generation was a lot more radical. Many people during this...
I'll give it a bag. This nigga right here, Martin Luther King Jr., is dead ass the reason why I know that these mugs are called the Boomer Generation. Because dead ass, whenever I was searching up some shit about Martin Luther King a while ago, I seen that he was doing this shit in the Boomer Generation, and like literally that's literally the only way that I knew this like 1946 through 1964. That's literally the only reason I knew about the Boomer. Martin Luther King Jr. Man, R.I.P. MLK. God damn, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Would have been old as hell up in this but he still could have been alive though. Man, that shit crazy.
This time had different perspectives, and a lot of them favored more left-leaning social causes in almost every direction, strongly opposing existing conservative traditionalist thinking that plenty of others still had. Many of these major political disagreements resulted in protests that were becoming increasingly violent, especially as the Vietnam War lingered on and on. The United States would slowly become more divided, and government distrust would rise in the following generations. Generation X. This generation is often called the latchkey generation, which stems from the children of this generation returning from school to an empty home and needing to use a door key to let themselves in, as a result of living in an era of a lot of free-range parenting, increasing divorce rates, increased maternal participation in the workforce, and widespread availability of childcare options outside the home. Young adults of this time period were dubbed the MTV generation, sometimes characterized as slackers, cynical, and disaffected. The baby boom era of the last generation was met with declining birth rates during this generation, partially due to the birth control bill being introduced in 1960 and abortion being legalized in 1973. However, demographic changes brought by the 1965 Immigration Act partially offset the declining birth rates from Americans already living there, and contributed to making Gen X in America more culturally and ethnically diverse than America had ever been. Gen X music saw many alternative rock, hip-hop, punk, post-punk, and heavy metal bands rise in popularity. Technological innovation boomed during this time period, with the rise of home computing from manufacturers like Apple, Commodore, and Atari taking to the scene with their offerings. Video games became a booming industry during the 1960s.
Had to be, because my daddy had all the consoles, bro. I still remember playing on that Nintendo 64. I had an Atari in my room. I had a GameCube. He had a whatchamacallit? Ooh, a Game Boy. He had a whole Game Boy, the handheld Game Boy. And what else? A Sega. Dog, hey, look. They had it all, bro. My daddy had it all, bro. It was all up in the closet, the games, everything. He grew up as a gamer. And then, like, when I got older, I realized, goddamn, all them games that he really had, he really was a gamer for real.
70s and 1980s, with arcades
Probably where I
becoming
get it
widely
from.
successful across the
I be
country.
playing that bit.
And Nintendo and its
EVE Online on Mac immerses you in a universe.
Atari introducing home consoles. Compared to boomers, Gen Xers were far more educated as enrollment in college was way more popular. Individualism and entrepreneurialism became one of the most defining traits with Gen X, as the collective generation would go on to produce Google, Wikipedia, Amazon, and YouTube towards the 90s and early 2000s. Generation Y. Millennials. Millennials were the first generation to grow up with the internet, mobile technology, and social media. They are commonly described as the first global generation, being connected to the entire world.
Not gonna lie to y'all, everybody always said that we was the ones that did that shit. Everybody was the one that said that we did that shit. Now, I know the internet was, like, invented, like literally, like, right within the time I was born and shit like that. Born in 2001, by the way. Yes, sir. I thought we was the first.
However, they are also described as the unluckiest generation due to their average and slower economic growth since entering the workforce than any other generation in history, as well as them being weighed down by student debt and child care costs. Millennials were born at the time of declining fertility rates around the world and are having fewer children than their predecessors.
You sure you got the wrong? Hold on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me stop. I'm gonna stop pausing, but I'm just not gonna lie to you. This sounded like Z.
Been criticized for having less sexual intercourse compared to their predecessors when they were the same age. In 2010, the unemployment rate in the United States reached a record low at 19%, and these economic difficulties have led to a dramatic increase in youth poverty, unemployment, and a large number of them living with their parents. Millennials are also less likely to be religious than their predecessors, though many identify as spiritual. Millennials experienced 9/11, which changed American culture and began the war on terrorism. That's not to say it's all bad for them, however, as they are often characterized for their digital fluency, diverse perspectives, and a strong sense of social consciousness, due to them being born in a time period where global news and information can be retrieved in seconds. Millennials are very active socially and politically, and not afraid to use their voice. And despite the previously mentioned economic troubles they face, more than 8 in 10 feel confident in their finances, which is representative of their generally positive outlook in a more complicated world. Generation Z. Zoomers. Zoomers are not that much different from millennials, but there are some key differences. While millennials were exposed to the internet and smartphones during their formative years and witnessed the entire world change, being forced to adapt to it too quickly, Zoomers were born into it. People born during this time period have grown up.
Hold on, you said we adapted to it too quickly?
Being forced to adapt to it too quickly, Zoomers were born into it. People born during this time period have grown up with the rise of social justice movements, a vicious new form of American politics with the rise of Donald Trump, the Black Lives Matter protests, a new pandemic, and lockdowns that prevented most of them from experiencing a large part of their high school or college lives. On top of that, there's an ever-growing attention and dopamine economy with apps like YouTube and more recently TikTok transforming not just how information is consumed, but their algorithms also transforming what information is sent out to the public. Even something as simple and stupid as memes, which were started by millennials as jokes, have become tools to spread and popularize ideas. Individualism defines the Zoomer spirit, as they have once again returned to the entrepreneurial spirit of Gen X because of the internet. And freelancing and gig economy work is transforming how jobs are run, while the pandemic transformed where jobs are run. At home rather than in office. Social media trends influence culture in a much different way than before, because individuals are now just...
So what he's basically saying is Gen X had the mindset of entrepreneurship. They had it like that. Gen what it was? So that was Gen X. So Gen Y, they experienced the upbringing, the bringing in of the internet, and basically they learned what they could, what they did about it, and then Gen Z came in, and we basically took that work ethic through entrepreneurship through Gen X, and also we took that new technology from Gen Y and basically mashed them together, And now the world is what it is right now. Not all because of Gen Z. Not all because of Gen Z. We got a big part in it though. But look, I'm doing this shit right now. I'm literally sitting here in front of my computer, reacting, trying to create something huge, and all I am is a guy in a chair sitting here watching a video, talking to my dogs. So let me not glaze us too much.
Gaining attention as traditional media and the financially backed entertainment industry, leading to jobs as capable.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie to you, we didn't get into the finance. We didn't get into the finances yet.
Of getting attention as influence
when it comes to the jobs and shit.
Way than before, because individuals are now just as capable of getting attention as traditional media and the financially backed entertainment industry, leading to jobs like social media content creation and influencers being the most wanted job above traditional work. Zoomers also grew up with SpongeBob, which defined culture more than really anything else.
Come on now, bro. Come on now, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Even at the age of 23, right fucking now, I can honestly tell you straight up like this, SpongeBob is an all-time show. Cartoon, all time. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there might be shows that you like better, but that is on the top of the totem pole. SpongeBob been around for the longest, and they're still making new episodes. I ain't seen none of them, but they're still making new episodes, bro. They're generational. They keep on going into the next one and the next one. SpongeBob might be around for forever. Who knows? We are like, I ain't gonna lie. The people that make it, hey, look, they ain't gonna be around forever, unfortunately. But like at the end of the day, bro, SpongeBob is goated, bro. Y'all give SpongeBob his respect.
Gen Alpha. Not much is known about what will happen to Gen Alpha, who is currently being raised mostly by millennials, as it's hard to predict what the future will bring. Described by some as the pandemic generation, they experienced everything about the pandemic as young children, and are growing up in a world dominated by changes in their education and entertainment due to technology. Many talk about the pandemic of iPad kids, as this generation spends less time with their parents on average than previous generations, instead living independently and self-directed, growing up with a now 20-year-old version of the internet. Many will experience young adulthood in the 2030s, and are expected by the United Nations to have an average lifespan of 83 years across the world. Problems that they are predicted to face are mental health issues, misinformation, and polarization, but it's hard to tell what the future will bring for them.
Man, from what it sounds like, Gen Z went ahead and took some great inspiration from other generations and mashed them together and created something. Now, they didn't dive as deep as I wanted them to dive into it, because obviously I went for the shorter video, because if we was going to sit here and go ahead and try to look at all of the generations and everything that they're going through and whatnot like that, we will be here for hours probably. But I like the way that they went ahead and put the positive in there. Now, I do know that there's also some issues that's going on. And plus, this was made 6 months ago, and right now we're kind of in the heat of like everything that's changing the world, but I'm not going to yap about it too much. All I'm going to say is, y'all enjoyed the video, man. Make sure that y'all go hit that subscribe button for your boy. Help your boy get to 150, yes sir. Gen Z. Hey, look, man, everybody that's out there that's belonging to Gen Z, in fact, fuck all that. Anybody that belongs to any generation, Alpha especially, bro, like even if it's like for the kids out there and shit like that, man, make something of y'all self. Make something of y'all self, bro. Do something great. Do something great. Do what you want to do it to the best of your ability, and don't give up on that shit, bro. I might not have, it might not mean nothing coming from somebody who ain't made it yet. Hey, look though, but I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna keep that attitude, and I'm gonna keep on being consistent, and I'm gonna keep on doing what I gotta do to do it. Hey, look though, but per usual, make sure y'all have yourself a blessed day, and ET y'all peace. Oh, I got my mic to fucking work now. I needed a whole nother plug for it, but I'm really excited about that. Yes, sir.